Hi everyone and welcome back to Manor Lords. Yeah, over a year since the release of this game. You know that I do love the game a lot, but I haven't played it for a while, and I thought, you know what, after seeing a couple other creators touch upon it lately again, I kind of felt the itch to play it again, and so here we are, and we're playing the first time on the High Peaks map. I think it's a beautifully crafted map, and this map apparently has its own challenges. I may say from the very beginning, we are not playing against any enemy armies or anything like that. We are building our village, you know, we are going to enjoy ourselves. We are going to try to build a little beautiful village to just see where the game is at the moment. So that's going to be fine, that's going to be fun. We do have, again, this map, we do have a pond over here. Look at that. Oh, how cool that is. I just took a random map, you know, I didn't restart a couple times to have the perfect map. This is just where we started, and we have to set our town center and stuff. We have it over here, and start building. We're gonna take it very easy, real time. I may do some cuts to not make it the episode too long for you guys, but we are going to take it all, as I said, real time, and we're building a beautiful village. Hopefully you stick with me till the end to have a good idea where this game is. I still believe it is one of the bestest games out there when it comes to these builders. I think it has a very beautiful, very consistent progress. There is not that kind of willingness to kind of overdo everything and just like very trying to stay true to its core, and this is what the game really does do perfectly fine. If you're watching this game for the first time ever and you want to know what's going on, we built a medieval village. It's very much close to realism, so that means we can do a couple of things that this game does differently, but we'll talk about that as we go. So first things first, I have paused the game at the beginning, simply because we want to make sure that we build our first bases as best as we can. You can see at the moment we do have -5 living space. We have to make sure to have living space rather quickly. We've got a population of 10. This is 5 families of each 2, and we have 8 kind of adults and 2 kids, or basically, no, that's not true. I think we've got 8 male and 2 female, I think that is. But nevertheless, we can have them for working purposes. You know, the families will be able to work. So what we're going to do as the first thing, we've got our menu down here. We first of all do sort our logistics, and what we will have at the beginning is a granary and a storehouse, because otherwise our supplies that lay around here just randomly would be gone anyways. Also, let me just quickly double check the graphics settings. All right, I fixed it. There was like a little bit of an performance settings I did wrong, because I am now on a bigger size monitor. That's why we are playing in WQHD, and I just needed to fix a couple things. Anyways, we want to start with the logistics first, and as I said, we don't want to have these resources to be spoiled when the first weather events comes in. They are activated, by the way. You can disable if you don't want to, but we do have some weather events upon us, so we need to make sure that is dealt with. So we're gonna put our storehouse down. This is the first thing we are doing. And I'm willing to put this somewhere, like this is obviously where we start. You don't need to have this as the start area, because you can always kind of purpose where your town is going. Let me just quickly double check. I think our first center is really something I want to do over here. We do have we've actually a rich deposit on iron just over here, which is very good to sell some stuff. We can claim that relatively early on. And we've got a clay deposit over here. We do have a bit of a forest to chop down. I think I'm willing to also, let's quickly double check where we have the water, because we also need some water. So this is where the wells go. Okay, we do have quite a lot of water over here. So I'm gonna plop down the well first, because I think this is the way to go. So this is where let's have a look. Okay, this is I guess this is where I want to have the city center. So I'm gonna plop this down here, and I'm gonna go and put my logistics buildings right over here next to the market space that I will make available. So that's there, and the granary goes somewhat like so. And then pressing R gives us the option to go for some pathways. Just gonna make sure that we have a bit of pathways already sorted at the beginning. I don't want to give them too much, you know. Just this is just where we go. So we've a bit of a pathway over here, and we're gonna connect this relatively quickly to the King's Road, which is that permanent road you have in here that you cannot really delete. So I'm gonna sneak something through here just at the beginning, so we have access to our little village. They will nevertheless just go wherever they want. So this is where we planned this. And what I want to do else is, apparently we also will need some trees and stuff first of all. So the logging camp It goes very close by. Just gonna put this one here. We're gonna relocate that relatively soon, but they can chop down this forest first of all for us. This is very important, and then I'm gonna put the markets where the question is now, do I put this further down? I think I'm willing to put this relatively to the center here, so I'm just going to give this area bit of as much space as possible. So that's what we're gonna do. It may actually be a bit too big though, but we're gonna have this our market space just to make sure that they have the option to go for. So let's go first of all to residential plot here. So they are not close enough. Yeah, you're just gonna see sometimes, again, as I said. Ah, no, there you go. Oh, that's a perfect timing. Like, the perfect layout, not timing. Like, this is exactly what you want to have. A very big space for them to farm, and a very tiny space in which you get both buildings in. So that is perfection already. So we got these two planned out. And this is where I'm willing to start building out. So first things first, this is the storehouse. This is not as relevant. We start with the granary as the highest. Then we go to the high for the storehouse, we go to high for that one, and then the houses will follow. And what we also got to do is we go and we get another ox from the beginning, because the ox will help you drag pieces from A to B, in case you don't know. So that is very important indeed, because it'll take more time if they always use one ox. So they will always, as you can see over here, bring that thing over, the one log, and the same goes for here. So they will always guide the ox to where they need to go and then bring the old piece over. If you've got two, apparently that goes quicker, as long as you have people who guide the ox and then bring this from A to B. That is exactly great. And as soon as we've built all these things, we need to employ a family so that they start moving over the different things. And you can see immediately our first market stall has been built. This is a pantry stall where food can be stored in. We don't have food production right now, but we have food in here. And as you can see, this game does tell us already. Just gonna pause this real quick. We have exposed goods at the moment that will suffer from weather damage if there's weather occurring. Then we've got the exposed goods for the pantry as well, and obviously not enough stable space, which is for the ox over here. So what we could do is building a bigger one, but we can't have planks right now. Like, we do need some planks later on, but what you always can do is go to logistics, and then there's the option to have another hitching post, which is exactly what I will put down anyways, because we will need more of those. So I'm gonna put this here. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna move this later. So the hitching post will be put down. Let's put this to highest right now, because that's gonna happen relatively quick. And then as soon as the houses are built out, we can continue laying out the next plot. Because what we want to do is, as you can see, this is your approval, and you need to go to a higher value in order to make people join your village, because you will need more workers over time. And this has to be over 50% to maintain the people, and over 60%, I think, to have the first migration, and over 75% is the highest migration that you... Anyways, we also will need food, apparently, or a good food, let's say, flow, that we have a good reserve in food in order to make people join our village. So we're going to quickly wait until they have built everything, and then we will take care of the next thing to do. So first building is built. You can see the first family goes in, and what we can immediately do is put a garden in here. So what we definitely did over here is put like a little bit of a backyard in, where they can make the garden ready. So this is very important, because that will grow us vegetables. They will provide us with food at the beginning, which is rather important in order to make sure that you have a constant inflow of passive kind of vegetables and stuff that the families will provide you with. So we're gonna expand this immediately, and while they're building, we can already put the next plot in. So as you can tell, we now have our logging camp, so we will chop down some trees nearby. That is going to help us to have this. Now the next bit I'm going to focus on is the food. We do have a very nice hunting ground down here, and we do have a pond for fishing. It's relatively far away. We don't have any berries or so. We do also have a stone deposit over here, which is good. 240 stones, though, is not as much as we need. So these two areas here for food. So we could put an additional granary down at some point. I think we don't have enough stone, do we? We do have enough stone to do that. So apparently what we could do is put a granary down, and then have someone always bring the stuff from here to there, which is my favorite way of doing it. I think I'm gonna put a granary down here, as well as some gathering stuff. So what we're going to do is a hunting camp that's going to go down. I mean, we could technically put the hunting camp up here too, but the problem is that they will then always walk down here. So what I want to do instead is have someone who's just carrying over the stuff. So if we employ more people later on in our granaries, they will exchange the goods to fill the marketplace anyways. We can even put some ox guiding posts next to these things, which I think is something we could do immediately. Let's see, how expensive is that? No construction here, so the hitching post goes right next to it. So we have a granary, and we can apparently also make the fisherman's hut, but we don't have enough logs for that one, which is fine. So let's quickly wait for the logs, because we will need these for the next burgage plot too. So as they're building over here, it doesn't even matter too much. We need to fill in the houses so that the approval goes higher up and we get more people joining us. We also need to care for firewood, but we only need to do that for the winter, so I don't mind this at the moment too much. So let's get this next fields in. And as promised, now this game is paused. No, let's actually quickly go on. I need some more wood. How many timber? 2 timber. Let's wait for 4 timber real quick. Because I need to build the next burgage. Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna plan that out real quick. Oops. Let's see where we put this. I think I'm gonna put this here, next to these things, because these things apparently will vanish at some point. So as soon as everything is taken away into our little village, these things will all be gone. The camp and so on. This is just for the starting reasons. So I'm gonna sneak like a little bit of a pathway in here. You know what I do? Just to show you the trick even better. So if you want to have a plot that goes very nicely into your planning, so I'm just going to first of all build a bit of a pathway around here so that we have set this pathway. So let's put it here. And now obviously what we need is a very tiny space to begin with. So what you can do is just build a very tiny one here. Look at that. And then just another tiny one. And then we go all the way here, and that is definitely big enough. I don't want to have a bigger lot than that. And what we do then is we obviously go to the burgage plot. And now you can see there are tiny ones over here you can connect with. So just use that one and then drag it as much as you can. Maybe we can even go around the corner. That should actually do the trick. There you go. And then it's very likely that you could get a result like that. And there's like an added benefit of doing this. It's not only that you have a very nice space usage, you also get a very beautiful building later on. Once you upgrade your houses, they will become bigger and better and naturally grow together, like with like a bit of an overarching wall or something like that. You know, that becomes like a stone wall, and these buildings become bigger. And then you can even have your additions of, say, turning that into a brewery or turning that into a bakery, because apparently that's what you can do in this game, which is very nice. You can utilize your civilian buildings as production buildings later on. So for example, if you go into our, like, we can also spend our points on the development tree over here. You can see we've got policies with production and trade that you can do over here. Also, I like that the menu now seems to be a lot more organized, which is super great. You can then see what you've done over trade actions. We don't have trade at the moment, but yeah. And also, let's just quickly change this. This is not going to be Erlhard. No, this is let's call it Hügeldorf, even though that's kind of hilarious because it's definitely not a Hügel. It's definitely, like Hügel means hill, maybe. This is like mountains over here, but anyways, this is Hügeldorf. So, and then you can specialize in one region. We don't have points at the moment. You gain points from having more burgage plots. As you can see, we need 5 to have this done. Now it's starting to rain, so it's good that we've most of our supplies already moved over. Not all of them, as you can tell. There is still some stuff over here because I was stupid and forgot to employ someone in the storehouse. So hopefully we don't lose too many of the goods over here, because these supplies will, as you can see, 2 of the firewood we already lost. But the family working over here will now start carrying over these things over here, which is very important indeed. And we're going to make the importance of this building a bit higher. So now it's a bit of a waiting game now, as you can tell. We have 1 more available living space coming in. The main target is to get to the first winter. We're now in April, so we're all good for the winter. We will make our approval higher in the next month because we will have a constant inflow of food. We have a food store over here. We have a generic store, which can have, for example, firewood very soon. We will maybe even have some vegetables this season because very early on I made sure that this works. And there you can see they're taking the supplies now from over here. Sometimes they bring them immediately to the building. So if this house, for example, would need some firewood, they would just get it from here and put it there. So that's nice. And they will actually, just to show you, they come around here with that little cart and then they bring this over here and you can then find this. So I really love the way how this game adds to the realism. Obviously not every single step fills this building in, but most of them do. So there you can see they brought another good and now the stones are lying in here. So I'm a massive fan of the way how this game works with this part of realism, you know. What we got to do, as soon as we have a couple families spare, we will actually clinch this area over here. So what stocks were, supplies were... yeah, well, we'll get the last supplies and we're all good to go. We're going to get this rich deposit for iron, because iron is something we can use for trade very nicely. And I haven't even checked how our fatality is in this region. Let's have a little look. So fatality, yeah, I was about to think so, because we have the pond. So fatality is kind of painful. So we need to focus on... making sure we have some piggies and we go for some alternative food production. So that definitely means we are going to go for some apple trees over here. We may go for better hunting. Wait, actually, I'm not sure if... Do we have a rich deposit? No, we don't. Neither of those are rich. Okay, so I think what we do is we don't focus too much on these things. We will then go for piggies, because you can also have like a pig area. But therefore, we need a lot of money. Regional wealth is needed to purchase piggies and stuff, which you can then have to produce meat, apparently, and sausages and stuff like that. So that is the way to go, I guess, for our food production. And you can always import this as well. But, you know, very surprisingly, or non-surprisingly, you will need money to do import. All right, but this is very nice. We are doing our work. We've got 2 families unassigned. That's neat, because the 3 things we're working them in is the storehouse, the granary, and the logging camp. That's where the families work right now. We are doing good on timber, and now what we do next, because that's the next step we need, we're going to put a saw pit down. The saw pit will utilize the logs immediately to produce some planks. So we're going to put this right next to this thing and to employ someone in here. And now we can also build the second house right next to it here, just to make sure that you know, we have another family moving in. And then look at that. This is, by the way, the new mercenary companies available is where people technically could join your village, but as of now we are not above 60% approval, which is exactly why they won't join us. But hopefully soon that's gonna work. And we also need some more burgage plots for them to join us, which is just what they do. I want to have 2 in that corner over here. So while the game keeps on running, we're just going to do something sneaky. So I'm just gonna do that. And this is where I want to have 1 plot in. Let's see if we can sneak one nice one in there. It's not like super tidy and hyper efficient, if you will, but I just like to play this game a bit more like that. Okay, so this is for example a lot that I'm not super happy with. So we can try to improve it, as you can see. So maybe I'm just going to go into the different direction then. So let's see if that does make more sense. Yeah, that's a lot more sensible. Look at that. This is exactly what I meant. So the garden will still provide us with some goods. Maybe we go for apples soon, as I said. That's going to help us to grow the whole area a bit more. So obviously, to just have more people, we could make some smaller ones just here. I'm just going to try to squeeze in a smaller thing, double building here with a bit of a...
simply a bad batch.
Okay, so let's have a look that we can just trick the system. Maybe in the other direction then. Sometimes you need to be careful. There you can see. Okay, so that may have been just that one number too small, too tiny, but okay, so I'm gonna speed down to normal speed just for making sure that hold on. I'm just gonna delete that one. And I'm just gonna make that this little bit more big, hoping that I can squeeze the buildings in here. So let's go. Also, is there a shortcut for... It's not a shortcut over here. I want a burgage plot on a shortcut. It's making my life easier, hopefully. So, gosh, still too small. It's maybe not too small. Maybe I just need to find a different anchor. That is definitely not... Okay, look, I could build 2, but then we don't have an anchor. You know, one of those is fine. One of those is fine. Let that one be built. What we can do instead is we can just get rid of the pathway around, and then we can just sneak the path over here. That's something I like to do, and I'm going to show you why. So now we have like another plot in the back here. And then you can also try the same technique to squeeze in the houses. Yeah, okay, but I want to have like an extra lot in the back that can house some piggies. So let's see if we can trick the system. There, come on, come on, come on. We can do that. Look, this is exactly the size I would need. I guess maybe going to this edge immediately could do the trick. Wait, is that like, do we not have enough? What's the issue? Okay, hold on.
Don't be shy, good.
Just gonna try that again. Further down here, and then sneak the whole thing. Okay, I may not be able to. Let's have a look if I can trick the system by just doing that and then sneak that in now. It just doesn't want to let me do that. What a pain. What a pain that is. Look, this would actually too steep to build. Oh, hold on. Is that because... Ah, okay. It's because it's gonna go down here. Alright, so I think we can solve that issue by putting the house here. Let's have a look. Sometimes it just helps to just then go and make it... Yeah, there you go. There you go. We just trick the system that way around. Okay, fine. Now, because we have... the steepness of the terrain is the issue. But it's gonna go steeper down here. Whilst this side over here is still okay for them to be in. Okay, so we've got a couple of houses available, which again is important to have space for potential immigrants. We've got done that. The next bit we should do is put down a church, because that always helps giving us a bigger approval immediately. Put this here. Hopefully this is gonna leave, like if I do move this hitching post, which I can do already. Oh yeah, you know, we leave it there as long as we can. So they built the church now for us, which hopefully gives us some approval. And we've got one family that joined us. As you can see, we are now 6 families, which is great. And that means we can employ one more person for the hunting camp, which is important. And the next family that's going to join us will be working in the granary to exchange our goods over here. Well, maybe not for the moment. Maybe we let them walk for the moment. Speaking of let them walk, let's see if we can give them a bit of a direct connection. Oh, actually, I don't want to destroy the food area there. So just let's give them a bit of a direct connection here. Look at that. Is that like... that's like a stream. It just went over. I can't build a bridge here, can I? No, that's just like a little stream. I think they will still walk through there. Bit of a pain that there is no bridge crossing over. Hope that's going to be something like that. Small things, they will be fixed. Yeah, we are running out of food. I see. But like, we're focusing on that. All good. We got 1 month of food left, but apparently, as the family is going to be in the hunting camp now, they will be getting food ready for us. Yeah, for the moment, like as soon as the church is built, we can even put 2 families in to have a bit of a quicker income on that. And we will build the fishing as soon as we can as well. So focusing on that building, as you can see, all goods are there. Maybe a new family will join us now. I'm not sure if, because, oh, actually they did. That's good. We've got just another family, so we can do exactly that. Bring more meat in, and we will build the fisherman's hut right away. Not enough goods. What are we missing on our 2 timber? Okay, we're gonna wait for the 2 timber real quick. Oh, hold on. We cannot... I think it's because we've got too many planks, because it's taken up all of this stuff. Okay, get rid of this one. You'll be working... not in that granary though. We got 2 people working in here, which is good. But you can keep on building, which is good. You can keep help us building the fisherman's pond. Do I put this one rather here? So why not? It's like somewhere in the middle. It's all fine. I'm not sure if that's actually needed, but we have that here. I mean, technically we could also build houses here and like a market space, which will potentially be a thing anyways. So maybe I need to build some houses here for people to live down here as for the food production. That may become a thing, like a very tiny one, maybe 2 or 3 houses and just like a little market space. But for the moment, I'll keep them running. It's a bit of a pain that they need to move that far, but it will bring us, as you can see, it will bring us food, which is going to help us. So we've got 2 families. As soon as it's built, we can immediately employ someone as a fisherman. So we have a good a good inflow of food again. So sometimes you can just deal that very nice. So we've got September, so it's also harvest season relatively soon. We should have a new family joining us as well. Right, so you can see 50% approval, which is a bit of an odd one, why it's 50%, but we do also have our church now. We do have basically everything except the clothing supply, which is the next thing we need to focus on. And that's what I just meant earlier. We can focus on trading maybe as well. And that's actually what we do. So we're going to go for trade and we build a trading post. This is the next thing we do. I'm going to build this one down here. I mean, yeah, why not? It's a bit far away from our storage buildings, but it's all good. It's all good. So as soon as we're starting to have a bit more space, I'm going to employ a second family in here for better food production. Now we have two type of goods. We've got fish and we've got so we've got fish and kind of meat, apparently. So both of them will require a food stall. So you can see this one over here has now meat and bread. And the other one should have fish in here relatively soon. It's the other family that now build a stall, which I think is always very beautiful that they do this. This is a very great start. Like, we're going to go 1st October. We definitely have this to set the target for today's episode to survive the first winter. I'm very willing to believe that's going to be a good one. Because now what we need is firewood, and firewood can be chopped down here anyways. Even though I'm just going to put this one down here to the side. So they go down and grab that from here. And we also need a forester hut who's going to put us down some forest. I'm going to put this here because I want to plant some forest here while they're chopping down on this lower hand side. So just making sure that we do this a bit more efficient. Hopefully one more family is coming soon. Yeah, fuel is the problem. Food is good. You know, we're very good for the months coming. So let's put this on the very highest priority here. Ah, beautiful. My hard drive was full again. Jesus, recording in WQHD just takes up so much more of the hard drive. I gotta fix that issue by having a new hard drive only for recordings, I guess. But yeah, so as we get into winter, we have to reorganize. We have to get another family. So before I go really into the winter, we can plan a couple of things. So we've got some more plots available. I think there's only, let's have a look, housing occupied 6. Under construction 0. So we don't have more burgage plots or whatever available for us, which is a pain. But we do have built this one. So one person is working on the trading post. And we immediately will set up a trade relatively soon. What I'm going to do is we're going to go for mining real quick. Mining is over here. And we do build a mining pit. So that one over here is apparently very good for us. So we're going to build this because we will need this relatively soon. And this is also rich deposit, so we can actually start with both. We have families left, or actually one family, but that shouldn't bother us from not doing that. So we have this done, and then this will bring us the money required to build upon that one in the next year. I'm not building any more living spaces, actually maybe one for the next upcoming early spring. We've got enough food, enough fuel, so maybe even 2. Let's see. But, you know, that'll help us to grow. So there is our market space in the middle, you know. What I'm willing to do is, like, this is where I want to put the tavern in. We don't need more houses, maybe a bit more houses of, like, yeah, like more storage houses for making the market a bit bigger. But, you know what, just going to put this house here in the center. And again, what I'm willing to do is, I'm willing to do to make this house just have a tiny working space, but a lot of living space. So let's just try to make it work as long as it takes to... Yeah, this is crap because we don't have a add-on spot in the back. So let's see if we can do it differently now. So maybe like this. And that's a very interesting way to do it too. But like, no, that's not what I want. There you go. This, wait, hold on. This is 2 houses and with an extra... No, wait, this is... Actually, I didn't want to make 2 spots out of it. Let's, wait, 1. Rotate that a couple times. Okay, that doesn't work. I mean, this is a very space-efficient way of doing it too. But that one is just not doing anything apart from just giving them living space. I hate the fact that they... you know, I'm just going to do this, okay? It's 2.5 houses. Oh, wait, no, that was not... Oh, hold on. No, I'm not. Just let's demolish both. That was stupid because that was just additional building and not the building space in the back. So let's see what we can do if I do it. Yeah, there you go. This is kind of fun though. I don't want to have the piggies. Then we don't put piggies in here. This is going to be an orchard that will be looking very beautiful in our town center. Yeah, why not? This is gorgeous. Okay, so our town center will receive a little orchardry. Love it. Okay, cool. Our approval is going up. As you can see, market food variety, church level, all goody. But we also need some cheaps, cheap. But we could also, to provide ourselves with food, we can also put down a tannery. Rather soon, because we will have some hides available. Let's have a look. So let's get out of here. We do have 14 hides. I mean, it could work for the beginning. It's not going to be long term because we will collect 2 little hides. We only have 1 deposit of animals. That's not going to be enough to make a good inflow of hides. But I think for the beginning, that's actually a cool bit. Let's put that one here. Why not? So the tannery in the center here is good. Okay, so these things being built. This is our first mining pit being built. I'm not going to employ anyone right now because I want them to be working on the plots until they are finished. So is that already the one we have built? Yes. Okay, let's build the second one. Got 2 houses available for the next steps. We are in December now. Food-wise, we should be good. Yeah, as we don't have too many people living in our area, this food is going to help. I'm not too sure though what kind of unit that is in. Is that like 17 units of meat, or is that 17 kilos of meat? Is it 21 kilos of vegetables? I think it would work for the amount of people, like 30 people to like 17 kilograms of meat is like half a kilo per each family. It's like a stretch to go for 10 months though, but like if you stretch it out, it should work. So what do we need actually for the next settlements? Okay, it's 2 leveled up lots. We can have that, putting 1 in the tannery, and as soon as we are ready, we can upgrade our houses, which is exactly what I'm gonna do to make these houses more efficient in grabbing our vegetables, which is why they will be the first ones to be upgraded. So we do have our well over here, and I'm questioning myself if we could potentially build another one down. Oh yeah, there is, is that the water? Hold on, I need to see if that's the water stream. It's all like, could it be the inside, the outside? No, wait, hold on, that's the inside, right? Because the well is in here. Yeah, okay, so we can put another one down. There you go. Okay, fine. We've got 1 family spare. We've got the houses spare. I like that. It's a very good start. We have a very subtle. No, it's not subtle. It's a very strong start, I should say. Very good one. So fish. We can still employ more people. 2 people working in the hunting camp. We could take 1 out now for the winter to make the population regrow next summer. Technically both, but it's fine. And then we've got 1 person or 1 family working in the mining pit. That'll help us to gain the material to trade with, because we have to unlock a trade route that we will need. But first things first, we go through all the resources. As you can see, there are a lot of resources. We could sell some fish, for example, if we have enough, but I don't want to do this because it's going to be too much. But you can see the iron slab over here is something we can sell, but we will need 40 to establish a trade route. What a shame though. So we need to deal something else first, which could be planks. This is a good that always helps. So what we're going to do first, employ someone else in logging camp. Oh, you know what? No, actually no. You go and work in the saw pit, because that's going to help us to increase the amount of planks, and we're going to increase the storages both. That's definitely something we need to do now. Alright, so they're producing, as you can see, iron ore, so we do still need to make them, turn them into iron slabs, which is going to be done in the bloomery, which needs fuel to do that. We are going to build this soon. We obviously could sell iron ore immediately or directly without actually going into the other one, which should be the raw material is... Where's the raw material? Is that in here? Hold on. There is... Wait, iron parts. Okay, not available. No, wait, hold on. We should be able... Iron ore, there you can see it. But the problem with the iron ore is it's going to be 3 for sale and 13 for import. We could do that immediately, but the iron slab will bring us 4. But it just... Yeah, maybe... You know what? We could establish that trade route over here. And then sell iron ore. Hold on. give me that one. Just a couple of those until we have enough money to build and establish the other road too. So we're gonna say export, and I don't care. We can have 0 left at the beginning. It doesn't matter. They should just come over and purchase iron ore from us if we have it. So at the moment we've got 24 iron ore. That equals to 72 potential regional wealth we can earn with that, and that should be enough to give us then access to the route with iron steps. What's actually the... okay, that's just like an outline of our little veggie gardens. That looked a little bit odd, but yeah, there you go. Very nice. We survived the first winter. What a glorious start that was. Also, it's looking pretty nice, like in the with the background over here. Yeah. No, I'm very happy. I'm very happy. That is a very, very good start for our little Manor Lords play. I'm willing to play more. It's very fun indeed. We do have 2 families now go for fishing because we're very efficient at the beginning. So efficient. The fishing pond is efficient. So nice. Okay, so we've got a tannery. Someone is working in here. We should be able to upgrade. There you go. Just upgrade the houses, please. Should be doable with all of them. And as soon as we've got the money, we will also get in some more veggie gardens and stuff, because as we have the chance to do so, we will actually do it. So we can actually upgrade them all to level 2, which is apparently very neat. I'm gonna do it with this house first. The ones that are further away from the marketplace, you should upgrade them as soon as you can. As they're further away, always harder to get in later, so make sure to do that immediately. Alright, look at that, 99 regional wealth. This is working fine. So we're gonna place the orchardry right away at the beginning. Because this is taking time to grow. Actually, they need 3 years to be in full growth and provide the maximum number of goods. This is why it's very important to make them grow very, very early on. So as soon as they're all... Look at that. This is a very good start in into our next season. We are in April. Still good to sow and to bring our stuff down, you know, put the saplings into the ground. Oh my god, it's like one... As you can see over here now, we can have the animal pen, which is good, but then we also need to buy the animals. We will actually do something about the animals very soon. Let's see that we can get some more regional wealth in. I'm very willing to say that this is one of the bestest starts I've ever done. Interesting. Very interesting that it worked that well, but, you know, I don't mind. While they're at it, we're just going to look down. The money just came in. But what I want to do too is I want to say export planks. I'm not going to establish the route. It doesn't matter. They can just come in when they want to. Just going to keep myself 20. Yeah, just 2 what we get for that. It's not like too great. And now apparently we still have our forest hut unprovided with a person. Let's do that, and we get the fishermen out because we are good on food, and we just had a little boost in here. That's good. All fine, all good. And now let's keep on pushing just 4 times this time around. So regional wealth is 100, which is good, but this means we can now put a couple more things in. So as I said, the orchard is put in here. We could make that an orchard too, but it's a hard one. I think I'm gonna go for a veggie garden still for both of them, because the space is too small for a good orchard. So we build better spaces for fine orchardries and also keep a bit of our regional wealth, because what I wanted to do as well is to get another ox too, and we can upgrade that to a small stable here. That one has to be relocated to here first of all. We're going to stay there, but like just relocate for the moment. And just see, we're not building it right now, but we can see if, yeah, okay, the tavern is going to fit in here very nicely indeed. Cool. Okay, that's done. Look, a very, very subtle, I want to say it's subtle. I don't even know why I'm using the word. Solid. This is the word I wanted to use. Damn, my English broken. Solid. A very solid start that is. I do hope you enjoyed that episode so far. I always enjoy this game. Like, I've been playing this game also without recording quite a lot, just because I enjoy it so much. I think there's not been a game in this genre for so many years that captivated me for so long and just has such a crazy replayability for me, like the different maps and a different way of doing our villages, focusing on different like chains that you want to follow, making sure that, you know, you have different targets to meet for yourself, but also from the game's will. Like, I'm very, very happy with that. Like, also, by the way, I want to certainly make sure that the area... They're plotting down the trees there, what I like, but I want to make sure it's that area. Fine. So they can still chop down trees here, but I want them to be chopping them down up there once they're grown. So that's important. We are making a regional wealth. We will need a lot of wealth at the beginning, so that is why I'm always very prone to sell a lot at the beginning. Making sure that more families come in. Let's have a look. Families should join. Oh wait, actually families cannot join us right now because we don't have living space for them. Which, you know what, it's the last thing we do. I'm gonna lay out a bit more living space. And apparently what we need to do is to have some smaller ones with animals. I'm gonna try to squeeze them all in here now. This is a very neat arrangement of streets where we can do it. I'm gonna leave a bit of space here. So these three will be very mandatory for us to hopefully get it sneaked in nicely. So let's have a look. This one, hold on. You're telling me that, okay, let's start with another one then. So let's just, yeah, there you go. This is exactly what I meant. So we can actually, look, this is almost too big, I want to say.
This is heavier than it looks.
Just gonna do it that way. Now we can get rid of the street down here. And then let's see. Yeah, that's more what I'm talking about. Like that. Like we can still have, it doesn't need to be that much space for the piggies and stuff, but we're just gonna try. Just gonna try. There you go. This is, oh no, hold on. Why is this not? Why are you not following my guidance here? Okay, that's stupid. That's all stupid. Why? Maybe because it's too steep, right? There you go. This is exactly what we need. Okay, so all these buildings will have a tiny space, which is enough to have our animal pen in there. You can make them obviously super efficient by just having the perfect, you know, square area that provides all the space. Just to show you, that would be something like, oh yeah, hold on. We can just do it over here, just for a showcase. You know, if you're not willing to make it organic looking, you could go for like this. This is actually way too wide, but like, just make it like so. There you can see it on the left-hand side. That would be the best thing you can have. The left-hand side is the optimum, I guess. Maybe you can even reduce the size even so much. Yeah, something like that. You know, it's a lot more space efficient, but it just looks too, I don't know, too weird. It just doesn't look natural. This is not how a city would grow. Maybe later on, if you make like a very intentional, very dense city center, you could make use of that. But I personally, I don't think it's worth it. Anyways, speaking of that, I think this looks fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did. I certainly did enjoy it quite a lot. So let me know in the comments down below if you want to see this continued. Else I'm gonna play it myself. I'm fine with that. But you know, I would be happy to play a couple more episodes for you to see how we can grow the city and make this a beautiful looking nice little town. Right. Anyways, Hügeldorf is out. This is it for today. Have a good time and goodbye.